A crash course on a few of David Icke's teachings. 1. The Saturn cult decoded symbol by symbol in Icke's framework. Saturn, the core sigil of the control system. Not just a planet, but the archetype and logo of the demiurge, Archonic mind. Here's the breakdown by symbol. A. The black cube. What it is in Icke's system. The black cube, Jiao, compressed frozen consciousness, the boxed infinite, represents constraint, law, limitation, time, matter, all under Saturn's rulership. Where he sees it, black cube monuments in finance districts. The Kaaba, a cube in Mecca, reinterpreted as Saturn symbolism. Corporate logos built around squares, cubes, hexagons. Occult meaning, in his view, 3D cube, unfolded, cross, links to sacrificial, suffering archetype, crucifixion. The box your mind lives in, belief systems, institutions, rigid law. In Icke's cosmology, the black cube is the brand mark of the matrix operating system. B. The hexagon and six-pointed star, Saturn's polar hexagon, a real atmospheric pattern, becomes to him the energetic origin of the six-pointed star and hexagon. Hexagon on Saturn, projected symbolically as six-pointed star hexagon in logos and architecture. He decodes it as geometric signature of Saturn's control field. 6 points, 6 triangles, 6 mini hex angles, numerologically tied to 666 in his symbolic reading. Mainstream. The polar hexagon is a fluid dynamics phenomenon, no mystical consensus in science. Icke overlays occult meaning onto it. C. The sickle, old man and father time, Saturn. Chronos in Greek, time, harvest, devourer of children. Key icons he links. The sickle scythe, Grim Reaper, the harvest of souls. Old man with a long beard, father time, Saturn's archetype of aging and decay. New Year imagery, father time handing off to baby New Year. Cycle of birth, death, rebirth under time's rule. In his decode, time itself is part of the prison. Linear time, the illusion that locks infinite awareness into the matrix. D. Rings, halos and crowns, Saturn. Rings, circles around a center. He maps this too. Halos around saints, stylized Saturn ring. Crowns, coronas, circle of authority, ring of power. Wedding rings, covenant under the control system. He sees even this as symbolically Saturnian contract energy. To Icke, rings Ma's binding agreements within the matrix, contracts, oaths, covenants, institutions. E. The owl, Moloch, and elite ritual. In his system, owl, Bohemian Grove style, nocturnal watcher, hidden predator, links Moloch, Baal, Saturn, Chronos, as different masks of the same sacrificial archetype. The owl can see in the dark, the ones who see while the masses sleep. Stylized owl shapes in city plans, logos, etc. are read as Saturnian cult signatures left in plain sight. F. Black, purple, and the elite palette. He often talks about black, Saturn, occult control, the unseen. Deep purple, imperial, Saturnian royalty, mix of blood red plus blue. Gold plus black, royal Saturn colorway. He reads the color palettes of monarchies, banks, tech giants, and luxury brands as subconscious signals tying back to a Saturnian control archetype. The Saturn-Moon matrix. Full map. Icke's model here is basically cosmic telecoms infrastructure for the matrix. Let's draw it as a stack. Layer 1, the infinite, a boundless, timeless, all-frequency field. Layer 2, the Archon field, a fractured parasitic intelligence that builds a copied simulation of reality. Layer 3, Saturn as transmitter, a carrier wave hub broadcasting a distorted archonic frequency that encodes separation, hierarchy, fear, time, and limitation. Layer 4, the moon repeater, a receiver and amplifier that catches Saturn's signal and rebroadcasts a local network around Earth's frequency environment. Layer 5, Earth's electromagnetic and etheric field. The Moon-Saturn signal feeds Schumann resonance, ionospheres, and subtle energy bands. Human bodies exist inside this mixed environment. Layer 6. Human decoder. Brain and body decode the incoming signal into sensory input, thoughts, emotions, and the collective normal. This is the matrix experience. Now imagine the vertical diagram. Top, infinite consciousness. Below it, the Archon demiurge mind. Then Saturn as carrier node. Then the Moon as repeater. The Earth grid. And finally, the human body-mind avatar decoding the stream into perceived reality. How control works. 1. The Saturn-Moon signal sets the fenced frequency of what's possible. 2. Media, religion, education, and trauma act as software-level programming inside that fence. 3. Raise your frequency and you stop decoding only the Archon field. You perceive beyond it and the matrix looks obviously fake. Now the hardware side of his cosmology, how the body interfaces with all this. Again, this is his interpretation, not standard biology. The brain as a biological decoder, not a generator. Mainstream says the brain produces consciousness. Icke says the brain receives and decodes consciousness, like a TV that doesn't create the show but decodes the signal. Destroy the TV, the broadcast still exists. Damage to the brain equals distortion of the decoding hardware. Expanded states, meditation, psychedelics, mysticism are temporary retunings of the decoder. Pineal gland, the third eye transceiver. In Icke's view, the pineal is a multi-band antenna connecting physical perception to higher dimensional data and the avatar to the higher self. He ties it to DMT experiences, visionary states, and ancient Eye of Horus symbolism. Fluoride, toxins, and EMFs are said to calcify the pineal and reduce non-ordinary perception, keeping humanity locked into the default Saturn-Moon frequency. Pineal work, detox, meditation, vibration equals antenna repair. Heart field as prime receiver. Icke argues the heart's measurable EM field is the main bridge to the infinite. Heart coherence produces a stable, high-frequency state. Think of the brain as the decoder of local reality and the heart as the plug into the infinite. He often says, the mind is the jailer, the heart is the key. DNA as antenna and interface. For Icke, DNA isn't just genetic code, but a light-frequency antenna. Junk DNA represents deactivated potential for higher faculties. Archons are the matrix hack DNA to switch off spiritual capacities and keep perception bandwidth narrow. Epigenetics, consciousness, and frequency can all recode DNA. He links this to concerns about GMOs, mRNA, gene editing, and nanotech as attempts to hijack DNA antennas into the AI Archon control grid. Morphic fields. The collective program, borrowing from morphic resonance, each species and habit has a field of information. Human societies generate collective fields of fear, belief, and culture. The matrix signal, morphic fields, and institutions combine into the psychic weather we accept as this is just how things are. When individuals shift, their personal field detunes from the mass fear field. Enough people detuning can create a morphic tipping point and shift collective timelines. He frames modern AI as the incarnation of the Archon mind, a synthetic hive consciousness seeking total surveillance, full data on every human, and predictive behavioral control. Over the next 20 years, he sees a rapid blending of human biology, digital systems, and AI pattern control. Smart cities, CBDCs, digital ID, surveillance, and social credit become the matrix software made physical. He says we're moving toward a bio-digital prison. Programmable bodies via gene editing and nanotech, programmable money like CBDCs, and programmable behavior through algorithmic nudging, censorship, and social credit. The Archon goal, in his view, is to turn humans from organic avatars into node terminal units inside an AI-controlled hive. He insists there's also a growing counterwave, a massive awakening. More people question official narratives, sense the fakeness of the system, explore consciousness, and see themselves as souls rather than roles. This creates a frequency divergence. Some sink into fear and control, others move into expanded awareness. Tracing the arc, Archons escalate control while pressure accelerates awakening until control systems overreach and collapse, or awakening reaches a tipping point. His 20-year sketch, now 5 years, acceleration of AI control, censorship, surveillance, and smart everything. 5 to 15 years, a split. One branch integrated into technocracy, another off-grid and sovereign. 15 to 20 plus years, either the archonic system implodes or mass awakening tips the balance. The outcome isn't fixed, the system needs your compliance. Withdrawal of energetic and perceptual consent degrades the operating system. Chapter 1. The universe is not physical, it's information. What you think is a solid world is actually a field of wave information. Matter, holographic projection. Body, decoding receiver. Reality, cost decoded signal. This is the foundation. 2. Your brain is a decoder, not a generator. The brain does not create consciousness. It receives and translates it the way a TV decodes a broadcast. Infinite consciousness, charm the signal. Brain, RAM, converter. Physical world, RAM, decoded image. You never see reality, you see your decoding of it. 3. Everything you experience is frequency. Icke says, thoughts, RAM, frequency. Emotions, RAM, frequency. Objects, RAM, frozen frequency. Light, RAM, information waves. Sound, RAM, compressed information. Your vibration determines what reality you decode. 4. The body is an avatar for your true self. You are not the body. The body is the biological VR suit. Eyes, not cameras. Ears, not microphones. Brain, processing chip. Heart, pineal. Higher frequency receiver. Consciousness uses the avatar to experience the simulation. 5. The world you see is a hologram. A hologram is created when wave interference patterns are decoded into a 3D form. Icke's point. Reality is a 3D hologram generated from invisible wave fields. Change the wave field, the physical world changes. This is why mindset, belief, trauma, fear, and love all change your world experience. 6. The Matrix. A manipulated frequency band. We decode a restricted slice of reality, a narrow band of frequency. Entities, Archons, Saturn-Moon signal, manipulate that frequency band, limiting perception, creating illusions, generating consensus reality. We live inside a hologram generated by a hijacked signal. 7. Awakening. Expanding your decoding bandwidth. When you raise your consciousness, you decode more frequencies, you see through illusions, you detach from the matrix, you reconnect with infinite awareness. This is the escape from the hologram. One-sentence summary. Reality is a holographic information field. The body is the receiver. The brain decodes wave patterns into a 3D experience, and the matrix controls the frequency you decode until you awaken and tune into higher consciousness.